I'm going to spend the next 100 days transforming this lake into the ultimate survival base, all in hardcore Minecraft. But of course, our adventure begins right here on day 1, and by the looks of it, we spawned in some type of savanna biome. The savanna is cool, but not exactly where I want to build our base, so let's just say hi to this little armadillo over here and punch our very first tree. There we go, got ourselves our first log, and let's just cut down the rest of this tree. Now that we got ourselves some wood, you already guessed, we're going to turn all of those into planks. And now that we got some planks, we can make a crafting table. Let's chuck this down and then do a 360 for some style points, and then we can make ourselves some sticks. And now that we have those, let's make ourselves a pickaxe and a regular axe. And I'm just going to use this axe to get ourselves a little bit of extra wood. 11 extra logs should be pretty good, I'm happy with that. And I did spot a little mini cave right beside our crafting tables. Let's head down here and get ourselves a little bit of cobble. Just gonna get ourselves enough for some basic tools as well as a furnace. Alright, sweet, we got plenty of cobble now, so let's make ourselves a few more sticks. And now that we have those, we can make ourselves a better pickaxe, a better axe, a shovel, as well as a sword. And we gotta remember to make our furnace too. Alrighty, but let's pick up our crafting table and one of these acacia saplings, maybe a few of them. But our next objective now is to get ourselves some food as well as some wool so that we can make a bed. I think I see some sheep over there in the distance, but before we head over, let's just get ourselves a little bit of sugar cane. Alright, little sheepies, I'm sorry to do it, but I need some wool for a bed, so goodbye and goodbye. But of course, that only gave us 2 wool, we gotta find another sheep. There are so many animals over here though, so let's just kill all of these guys and stockpile a bunch of food. For how many animals there are, there's still no more sheep, which is a little bit unfortunate because we still need more wool to make a bed and the sun is already setting. You know what, we don't even need a sheep. Oh wait, is there a sheep here anyways? Okay, I was gonna say we don't even need a sheep because look what I just spotted, there's a village over here. Yeah, forget killing sheep, we can just steal one of these villager beds, thank you very much, good night. Kicking off day 2, we are pretty hungry, so let's get some of this food smelted up. And while we wait for that to do its thing, let's place down our crafting table and make ourselves a few more sticks. And then using these, I want to make ourselves a hoe. Using this thing, we can grab all of these hay bales, which are going to be super useful as both food as well as to breed animals. Moving along, let's loot the rest of this village. We got ourselves, okay, a leather tunic. I guess that's some early game armor. What about on this side here? Okay, some cauldrons. I'll take those, you know, why not? This village is low-key bigger than I thought it was going to be. We got another chest here with some food and some seeds and some saplings. And I mean, if we do have some bread now, we might as well just go ahead and eat this. Yeah, another house over here to loot with, okay, wait, a bucket, let's go. Might as well just fill this up with some water, it might save our life later. There's even more hay bales over here, so you already know I'm gonna pick all of these up. And there's even some melons. I definitely want some melons, so give me these please. I'm trying to see if there's any other crop types hiding in these farms. I would love to get some potatoes and some carrots. I'm not having any luck so far, but you know what, that's alright. This village is so much bigger than I thought it was. It has so many houses, and this one right here has our very first emeralds. Not exactly part of the village, but I did just spot some coal over here in the cliffside, so we should definitely pick this up. All of the villagers are gathering around this bell, but I want it, so sorry guys, but it's mine now. I think it would also be a good idea to take out this golem, so let's just pillar up and punch this guy. Really hoping this guy will drop a decent amount of iron. Oh my goodness, wait, is my inventory already full? No way. I guess I don't need this short grass or this egg, and how much iron did we get? Okay, 3. We didn't get a whole lot, but it is enough to make ourselves an iron pick, so let's go ahead and do that. And I think the sun is already setting again. Are you kidding me? Villager, get out of the bed, please. I want to use it. I think there's just a few more houses for us to check out, and let's see what this one right here has. Oh my goodness, a bundle. That is actually perfect timing because our inventory is getting super full. This is going to be super helpful. Gonna grab these last few hay bales because I can't help myself, but after that, we should be ready to continue our adventure. Oh yeah, I guess I should grab our cooked chicken as well as the actual furnace. I almost completely forgot about this stuff. And for that matter, let's grab our crafting table back as well. I want to do a lot of building over the next 100 days, so I think we should try to find a suitable lake for our base as soon as possible so we can get started right away. I mean, I will grab anything cool that I see along the way like these wildflowers, but we really gotta lock in. Wait a minute, I just spotted some dark oak trees over here, which is one of my favorite wood types, so we should definitely grab some of these saplings. I am playing on a completely random seed, so I don't know how long it's gonna take. Oh my goodness, my axe just broke. Let's go ahead and make ourselves a new axe, but what I was trying to say is that I'm playing on a completely random seed, so hopefully finding a good lake for our base isn't too difficult. I think we'll figure it out, but let's just get ourselves a few more saplings and then we can carry on. Got ourselves 12 saplings now, so Operation Find a Lake continues. Looks like there's something here. Is this a lake? More of like a river. I'm really trying not to get too distracted, but look what I just spotted at the very top of this hill. That is a spruce tree. So let's get ourselves up there because I for sure want some of those saplings too. Oh wait, no way, an emerald, what? I cannot believe we just found an emerald like that out in the open, but I'll take it. But let's not get too distracted and cut down the spruce tree, and I think it's like the only spruce tree in this area, so hopefully it drops some saplings. I feel like we should be able to get at least one, but now that I'm saying it, I'm probably gonna jinx it. Or maybe not, because look at that, we just got ourselves a spruce sapling. This is also a good vantage point to look for a lake. There is this one over here, but I think it's a little bit too big, so we gotta keep searching. I'm sure we'll find a good one, it's just a matter of time. And I'm thinking it might be a little bit easier to search on the water, so let's go ahead and make ourselves a boat. Grab our crafting table back, place that down, and let's go. I really want an area like this, you know, a nice large lake with some land all around it, but this is just way too big. I seriously thought it was going to be so much easier to find a lake, but this might be a little bit more tricky than I thought. We're over 3,000 blocks away from spawn at this point, which is kinda nuts, but I think I finally found a good lake. Just imagine builds going all the way around this thing, it's gonna look super sweet. But now that we have a base location picked out, let's place down a chest and unload all of our items. We had more stuff than I thought, so I ended up dividing it into 2 different double chests, but that right there is everything that we have. My next goal is to build a proper starter house, but before we get to that, let's grab our saplings and sugarcane, and then we can go ahead and plant a few dark oak trees, as well as a couple of spruce ones. As for the sugarcane, let's plant it right along the edge of the lake, and this is going to be super helpful for getting an enchanting setup later. I did notice that there's quite a few animals around this lake, so before they wander off, it might be a good idea to make some animal pens. This doesn't need to be too crazy fancy since I do plan on building a proper barn later, so let's just set it up over here. And I did separate this thing into a few smaller pens just so we can have like one for the cows, one for the sheep, one for the pigs, and one for the chickens. There is a bunch of sheep over here, so let's start with these guys. Kinda wishing I made this thing a little bit bigger, but that's alright, this is only temporary. Anyway, let's go hunt down some cows next, since getting leather is going to be super important for getting an enchanting setup. And I just spotted some pumpkins along the way, so might as well pick these up. And here we go, just found a bunch of cows. Come on guys, come with me. And guess what cows, I have a very nice surprise for you. You guys are getting the biggest pen of them all. Alright sweet, just 2 more animals to go, and that's the pigs and the chickens. And I already found a couple of chickens, so let's move these guys over next. Alright, awesome, just gotta get some pigs now. Although, how are we gonna move pigs over, because yeah, we don't have any potatoes or carrots. I don't even have string either to make some leads, so I guess we're gonna have to use some boats. This is maybe a little bit excessive. I mean, we don't even really need pigs right now, but you know what? I want to finish our animal pen. Alright, little piggy, hold on, let's do this thing. Just gotta make some room for the boat, so let's break these couple of fences. Then we can hop back into the boat, and come on, pig. Okay, there we go. I do want to give this guy a friend though, so let's just try to find one more pig. And perfect, I just spotted one. Can you please get into the boat? There we go. This is so slow, but we gotta do what we gotta do. Let's just close this off and then turn hitboxes on, and then we can break this boat. Let me break that please, and then we can break this one too. I just stayed up way too late and my bed is over there and there's a bunch of skeletons. You gotta be kidding me. Oh wait, there is a zombie villager though. Can you get into a boat please? Yes, wait, let's go. Okay, just don't die now, please. Oh my gosh. Oh man, I'm trying to get to my bed. Ah, where did you come from? No! Dude, oh my gosh, wait, I'm half a heart. Oh, no. Okay, wait, hold on. Oof. Where's my dirt? Dirt. Oh my gosh. Hang on, eat some food. Okay, we're good. It kind of sounds like it's raining, but it should be morning, so let's check it out. Oh my gosh, wait, there's a skeleton off the rip. No way. That guy shot me right in the head too, look at that. I am not gonna let that slide, little buddy. Sidestep, boom, can't touch this. Boom again. Oh yeah, look at that, you're trash. Also, it looks like our zombie villager died somehow, which kinda sucks, but it is what it is. At least our animal pen is completely full now, which is a really nice feeling. And since we do have a bunch of hay bales, we can turn all of this into wheat. And then you guessed it, I'm going to use this stuff to breed all of the animals. Just bred the sheep, so let's also breed the cows. And we can breed the chickens too using some seeds. Unfortunately, we can't breed the pigs, but that's alright. But now that our animal pens are all set up, let's get to work on our starter house. We're going to need a bunch of materials to build our house, but I don't really feel like collecting them with basic stone tools, so I think we should do a little bit of mining first. With that said, let's try to find ourselves a nice cave. Wait a minute, is that a pirate ship? Okay, yeah, it totally is. Let's check this thing out. It does seem pretty broken down, so hopefully it has some loot. Oh my goodness, wait, is it all like buried too? You're kidding me. Alright, time to get digging. You know, this thing might have like diamonds or something in it. It's probably worth it. Yeah, okay, wait, here we go. Got the chest. No diamonds or iron, but check this out. We got some moss blocks, which is awesome. We also unlocked carrots, which is going to be super useful for breeding our pigs. And then we also got some paper, wheat, rotten flesh, and some suspicious stew. Pretty good find, honestly, but I think this thing should have at least one more chest, so let's try to find it. Come on, there's got to be another chest here, right? I've been digging around for a while, and if this thing has a second chest, I cannot find it, but whatever, let's just carry on. And look what I just spotted right beside the shipwreck, one of the craziest looking caves that I've ever seen. This looks so dangerous, but you can see like all of the ores glowing. That is so tempting. You know what? I can't help myself. I'm jumping in. Oh man, I am very quickly regretting this. There are so many mobs. Oh man, I don't even know where to go. I really need a shield. Get out of here, creepers. Oh my goodness. Okay, we gotta get ourselves a shield pronto. Let's pick up some of this iron. Can you just chill, zombie? I'm not in the mood. And of course, that guy called in his buddies. Get out of here, guys. Yeah, I want to get ourselves a shield, so maybe let's just hide back here for now. And I don't think I brought my furnace with me, but that's alright. Let's just make a new one. Alrighty, but we can place that down and then get this iron smelted up. There we go, 2 iron ingots. But all we need is one of these right now so that we can make ourselves a shield. Gonna chuck that into our offhand and then pick up both our furnace and crafting table, and then we can carry on. And I am hearing so many mob sounds right now, so let's just very carefully break our way out of here. Are we okay? Maybe not. There's a couple of zombies. Okay, wait, there's like 3 zombies. Can you guys please just like leave me alone? I am really starting to regret coming to this cave. Like, look at this. There's so many mobs. I guess the bright side is that there's also a bunch of resources, so let's pick these all up. And we should really focus on the iron because we gotta get ourselves some armor. But I swear, the longest I can mine without anything attacking me is like 5 seconds. You know what, we're gaming right now, let's just lock in, we can do this. We already are getting pretty close to having enough iron for a full set of armor, which is really good. For sure gonna need some fuel to smelt this down though, so let's grab some of this coal. And then we still do need to grab just a little bit more iron. Can you, not right now, zombie, please just go. Ow, wait, what is hitting me? I swear something else was hitting me, am I losing my mind? Maybe it was this skeleton, I don't know. Regardless, this guy's gotta go. This guy was hiding more iron as well as like more gold and stuff, like come on. Gold would honestly be nice to make some golden apples, I really do want this stuff. And would you look at that, there's even more iron hiding behind this thing, let's go. I'm just gonna mine this iron vein right here, and then I think we'll have more than enough for a full set of armor. Yeah, for sure 40 iron is enough, so let's get this all smelted. And while we wait, we can just continue mining because there's still a bunch of useful stuff around here. There's more redstone, there's more coal, and there's more mobs too, of course. I don't really plan on using very much copper, but we might as well grab some of this too. And we are getting down into deep slate levels, so maybe we'll get lucky and find some diamonds. Found our very first lapis lazuli, gimme. Oh my gosh, wait, double skeleton, not good. Can you guys please fight each other? Fight each other, please. Yes, then I can take care of the zombie while you do that. Perfect. Alright, who's gonna win? That skeleton? And now I take out the winner. Goodbye. Ooh, and that guy dropped his bow. What does this thing have on it? Power 2. Not bad. Alrighty, but let's check in on our iron. Okay, wait, I think it just finished. There we go. 40 iron ingots. I am not waiting a second longer. Let's place down our crafting table and go ahead and make ourselves a full set of iron armor. Oh man, this is gonna be so nice. You served us well, leather tunic, but goodbye, I want to use this iron stuff. And you know what, we still do have a decent amount of iron left over, so I'm going to make ourselves a better sword. And while we're at it, we might as well make ourselves a new pick, a better axe, and a shovel. We still got to be really careful, but I'm feeling way more prepared to take on this cave now. I don't think I'm going to try to get full diamond gear right now, but it would be nice to find just a few diamonds. That is not a diamond, it is a spider, get out of here. And even though we are in the hunt for diamonds now, I am going to pick up anything else useful that we see, for example this iron. We can also grab a bit more redstone, why not? Copper is kind of cool too, so I guess I'll take that as well. What we really need to do is find a part of the cave that goes lower. Oh my goodness, wait, I was gonna say goes lower so we can find diamonds, but there's diamonds right here, let's go. We got at least 2, which is very nice. Can we perhaps get a third one? Maybe not. Come on, I want enough diamonds to at least make a pickaxe. You're really only gonna give me 2? I just dug all around those diamonds that we found, but it's looking like it was just 2. 2 diamonds is still a really good start, but let's try to find just a few more. There is this huge mineshaft down here, but surprisingly, oh wait, I was gonna say I don't see any diamonds, but I do see some right there. Alright, you know what, I'm going for it. There's some water, so we can easily get down to the bottom. Probably gonna be a bunch of mobs down here, but we can do it. Bring it on, guys. I have full iron armor. I am not scared anymore. Ooh! I'm scared. Oh my gosh. Okay, I did not know there's gonna be lava there. Oh my goodness, holy cow. Can you guys please just get off me for like 5 seconds? Oh my gosh. And now there's poisonous spiders, you gotta be kidding me. Can you just die? There we go. More zombies, classic. Hang on, we have got to get rid of the spawner. Okay, there we go. Let's get these diamonds that are under this platform. Come on, please be more than 1 this time. Alright, it's looking like at least 2. 2 diamonds, I'll take it. Guess we should do a little bit of a dig around this as well, but yeah, it's looking like it was just 2. No worries though, because look at this, we have even more diamonds over here. Is this one gonna be more than 2? And no. All of these diamond veins have been so small so far, I really want to find a big one. I also don't want to die, so let's take out the skeleton. But here we go, even more diamonds. Dude, please be— oh my gosh, okay, you know what? Just forget it. Finally, I found more than like 1 or 2 diamonds. We got at least 3 here. Maybe we can get some extras as well though. That would be pretty nice. Yes, okay, we got 4 diamonds from this one. Let's go. I guess we should also check out this mine shaft because, you know, there might be some loot here too. That is not loot. That is a baby zombie. Can you please just, die? Yes, okay. And I will be honest, this is like one of the weirdest mine shafts that I've ever seen. It's so like, just like out in the open, you know what I mean? For how open it is though, I'm not seeing like a single loot chest, which is kind of weird. Oh my gosh, look at this zombie right here. He has a spear. That is so scary. I want to keep exploring, but I'm almost completely out of food, so I'm just going to grab any final kind of easy to get diamonds that I can see, and then we can get out of here. But as always, they're just being guarded by like 1.5 million mobs. It is so annoying. Finally made it over to some diamonds, and it's at least 3. Okay, wait, it's 4. Let's go. Why does this zombie have an iron sword? That is so scary. This creeper is also scary. Goodbye. We're running out of food, but look at this. There's like diamonds there. There's diamonds up here, over there. There was some, yeah, up here. Oh my gosh. Alright, you know what? Enough yapping. I'm fully locking in, mining these diamonds, and then we can go back home. After mining all of those, we're up to 26 diamonds, which is kinda nuts. And I know I said I was going to go back home, but before doing that, there's just one more quick thing that I want to do, but in order to do that, we're going to need a diamond pick. We're also going to need a lava pool, but conveniently there's one just over here, but we gotta turn all of this into obsidian. And I simply just want to grab enough of this stuff for both a nether portal and an enchanting table. After this one right here, we're gonna have 20, and that's gonna be more than enough. And since we are down to 2 pieces of bread now, it really is time to go, but I mean, there's diamonds right here, so I can't help myself. But after these ones, I promise no more distractions. I'm going back home. We are pretty far underground right now, but the good thing is there's these kind of like water columns, I guess you could call them, so we can easily take these back up to the top. Oh man, there's the sky. It has never looked so beautiful before. That was such a successful but also stressful mining session. I'm feeling really ready to go back to the base. Now that we're here, I'm just going to take a second to organize all of our items, and then I'll show you everything that we got. Alright, sweet, I got everything organized, and check this out, we got ourselves a bunch of ores, our obsidian, and of course from that shipwreck we got some moss and some carrots. Might as well just go ahead and get our iron smelted, and I'll also smelt up our gold as well. And then with our diamonds, I'm thinking we can make ourselves a better sword, and we still have so many of these, I'm also going to make ourselves an axe and a shovel. And since we are playing in hardcore, having good armor is super important, so let's make ourselves a chest plate and some leggings. I'll save the rest of our diamonds for later, but we are making some great progress. We are completely out of food right now though, so let's grab this raw beef, and then we can grab our gold out of this furnace and get this smelted up. While we wait, let's take a second to breed our cows again, and we can also breed our sheep. Come over here guys, and I'll breed up the chickens too, why not? And while we're in chore mode, we might as well harvest all of our sugarcane too. But now that our food situation is taken care of and we have much better tools, let's get to work on gathering up all the materials that we're going to need to build our house. And I think we can just start off with the wood materials first, so let's cut down all of these trees. I'm also going to strip a decent amount of these logs as we go, which should hopefully save us a little bit of time later. Anyways, enough yapping, let's get all of these trees cut down. And I also wanted to use some regular oak wood, which surprisingly it's already day 18 and I don't think I've gotten any oak wood yet, but anyways, let's cut down some of these trees too. And just like our acacia ones, I'm going to strip some of these as we go to save ourselves some time. And now that I'm thinking about it, it might also be nice to use some oak leaves to decorate our house, so let's grab some of these while we're at it. Can also grab some flowers, these might be nice as some decoration as well. Anyways, I think we have all the logs that we need except for spruce wood. We're a little bit low on that, so let's turn these bones into bone meal, and then we can try to grow this up. There we go. That is absolutely perfect. It just gave us a big boy tree, so let's cut this down. And it turns out that was still not enough spruce wood, so let's grow and cut ourselves down a second tree. And just like we did with some of the other wood types, I'm going to be proactive and strip some of these logs as we go. And I think that should be all the logs that we need, so it's just a matter of crafting now. First off, I'm going to make some of these acacia shelves, there we go. And we're also going to need some oak shelves, as well as spruce shelves and dark oak shelves. Just a few more wood materials to make, for example, some oak slabs. Also gonna need some spruce fences, slabs, stairs, and trapdoors. Our inventory is absolutely overflowing right now, so we gotta put this into a chest, but this right here should be pretty much all the wood materials that we need. I guess that's not entirely true. We're also going to need some other stuff, for example, a campfire. We're also going to need a decent amount of barrels, and a bunch of chests, as well as a couple of composters. For real this time, this is all of the wood materials, so let's move on to the stone blocks next. We don't need a crazy amount of stone, probably just like 4 stacks, so I'm gonna grab some from where we were hiding from mobs before. And just like that, we got ourselves 4 stacks of cobblestone, so we should be good. I do want to turn a bit of this into regular stone though, so let's make ourselves a couple more furnaces. Can then chuck those down, and then I'll start smelting up about a stack and a half of this stuff into regular stone. And while we're at it, I'm also going to smelt up some of the sand so we can get some glass. And there is just one more thing that we gotta smelt, but in order to find it, we gotta hop into the lake. And I've already spotted what I'm on the hunt for, and that's some clay. Really do not need a crazy amount of this stuff. I think after this patch right here, we should be good. Yeah, we got over a stack, which is plenty, so let's go back up to the surface. And I'm gonna go ahead and throw this into our 4th furnace so we can get some bricks. And by the looks of it, some of our stone is already ready, so let's grab that. And then we're also going to need an iron ingot. Where's my iron? Right there. And then we can combine these together to get ourselves a stone cutter. Now that we have this thing, let's get to crafting. First off, I'll make a couple of cobblestone stairs, and then we're also going to need a couple of stone brick slabs as well as stone brick stairs. And last but not least, just some regular stone bricks. Well, I guess there's just one thing that I forgot, but we need some smooth stone. There we go, and we can also grab these sticks. Back over at our crafting table, we can turn the smooth stone into slabs. And then I want to use this stuff to make an armor stand, and I always forget the recipe. Is it... okay, wait, actually, I did it. Back over at our furnaces, let's grab our glass and our bricks. And then I'm going to turn this glass into panes, and I'll turn the bricks into flower pots. All we have left is the more miscellaneous blocks, for example, a painting. Also going to need a grindstone, a bunch of lanterns, and I'm going to use the very last of our iron to make an anvil. I do want to add some carpets inside of the house, and I think it'll just be easiest if we dye the sheep now, so let's grab some of these flowers. And you guessed it, we're going to turn those into red dye. However, I also want to use some black carpets, so let's kill some of these squids. And I also want to make some gray dye, so let's grab one of these bones. Make some bone meal, and then turn the bone meal into white dye. And then if we combine the white dye and the black dye, we should get gray dye. I feel like I just said the word dye like 1,000 times, but anyways, let's head over to our sheep and dye some of these guys red, and we'll get a few black ones as well. And last but not least, let's get ourselves some gray sheep. But now that all of our sheep are ready to go, let's shear them all. But now that we have a bunch of wool, we can make the very final materials for our house, beginning with a couple of red beds. And then with the rest of this wool, we can simply just turn it into carpets. This ended up being a ton of materials for just a starter house, but I think we finally have everything that we need, so let's get straight to building. For the foundation, I just mixed our cobblestone and stone together for a bit of texture variation. For the second floor, I used our acacia, which is a little bit different, but I think it does look pretty good. As for the roof, I created the trim out of dark oak and then filled in the rest with spruce, which is one of my all-time favorite combinations. I'm already really happy with how our house is looking, but let's add a few more details to really take this thing to the next level. First off, just gonna add a few lanterns to make this area a little bit safer. And since we have this large cantilever on this side of the house, I thought we could add some buttons to make it look a little bit fancier. At the very back of the house, we have these windows, which I would like to detail, so let's just pillar up there. And we can keep this super simple by doing some flower pots and inside some oak saplings. Just adds a nice little natural touch to the build, so I like that. And the front of the build is exactly the same, so once again, let's get ourselves up here. And then we can do some flower pots, and once again, some oak saplings. For just one more detail on the outside, let's dot a few oak leaves around for a bit more greenery. But with that, I'm happy to call the exterior of the build done, so let's get started on the inside. I think the obvious spot to start is with the floor, and for this one, I'm just going to do some oak slabs. This is already looking so much better, but for just a bit of texture variation, let's tear some of these out and replace them with stripped oak logs. Really don't need to go too overboard, I'll just do like a couple more and then we should be good. Moving along, let's get the ceiling in place, beginning with some spruce logs. And then above this stone, I'll just do some planks just like so. Can do the exact same thing on this other side, a couple of planks there, and a couple more right here. As for the rest of this area, let's just fill it in using some slabs. For getting up to the second floor, we're going to need a staircase, so let's just start off with a couple of stairs right here. And with that in place, let's create a small platform using planks. I think it'll make this corner feel a lot more natural, but anyways, let's just continue on using our stairs. And just like that, we have a really nice staircase to get to and from the second floor. You might have noticed this weird hole in this wall right here, and I was thinking we could just fill that in using some furnaces. Next up, let's add some lighting since these temporary torches are kind of driving me insane. Yeah, I'm sorry torches, you served your purpose, but it's time to go. Moving along, I want to make our staircase look a little bit fancier by adding some shelves on either side. Yeah, look at that, that looks really good. Can do something similar on this wall right here, but I'm going to switch it up a little bit by doing some oak shelves. I want this entire wall to be for storage, so let's start off by filling this little nook with a bunch of double chests. And let me just quickly make sure we can open these top chests. Okay, yeah, we're good. And then right beside this for even more storage, let's add a couple of barrels and a couple more double chests. Can do the exact same thing on this side as well, a couple more barrels and a couple more double chests. We can't have a storage area without a crafting area, so let's begin with an actual crafting table. Right beside that, let's store a stone cutter, and on the other side, a bookshelf, and on top of that, a flower pot with a cornflower in it. I'm pretty happy with that, but this corner over here is still looking a little bit empty, so let's do an armor stand and we can display some of our very first iron armor. Believe it or not, that's pretty much this floor done, but to tie everything together, let's create a rug using red and black carpet. Yeah, dude, I think that was the detail that this place was missing. This is looking so good now. We're not quite done with the interior yet though, as we still have the second floor to detail. First off, let's create an indoor plant using a composter and a couple of oak leaves. I quite like how that looks, so let's do another one on this side as well, so just a composter and a couple of leaves. Next up, let's add some proper lighting, beginning with some lanterns above the staircase. And then there's also this beam going across the center of this main room, so maybe let's do like a lantern here, one in the very center, and one more right here. To make our staircase a little bit safer, let's try creating a railing using shelves. I really do like that as a railing, and it makes our staircase feel a lot more complete. Next up, I want to create a really cool bed, so let's begin with a couple of barrels and a couple of actual beds, and then on top of that, a couple of slabs. And to make our bed feel a little bit more enclosed, let's do a couple of shelves on either side, just like this. For just one final detail, let's add a painting. I do not like that one. I do not want that one. Sure, yeah, I like that one. Just gonna get rid of these temporary planks, and let's take a look at our bed now. Yeah, that looks really good. Moving on to some other details, let's create a shelf using trapdoors. And we can keep this super simple and just do some flower pots and inside some spruce saplings. Right beside that, let's do yet another painting, and yeah, I kind of like that one off the rip, so let's get rid of these temporary planks. Our second floor is already really shaping up, but for yet another detail, let's create another rug. The very final thing that I want to add to this floor is an enchanting area. Before we get to that though, I did notice that it's dark out right now, so let's try out our bed for the very first time. After a nice sleep, I'm feeling very refreshed on this beautiful day 32 morning, but I think it's finally time that we kill our cows so we can make our enchanting table. And there's a creeper here, you've got to be kidding me. Wait, no. Oh my gosh, wait, I thought he was going to blow up our cows. Okay, wait, we're good. I guess we're killing our cows anyways. It really wouldn't have mattered if he blew these guys up, but yeah, I'd rather do it myself. Oh yeah, and I guess we should breed these guys first, but oh my goodness, we have a lot of cows now. Alrighty, but back to slaughtering, we need a bunch of leather. All that remains is the babies, which is a little bit sad to see, but we got over a stack of leather now, which should be more than enough. That is super sweet, but we're also going to need our sugar cane, so let's grab that. We also need to make the actual enchanting table, so let's grab ourselves a little bit of obsidian, as well as a couple of diamonds. Just a matter of crafting now, but let's first make ourselves a bunch of paper, and then we can combine that with our leather to get a bunch of books. Now that we have some books, we can make our enchanting table, and then I'll turn the rest of these into bookshelves. I am super glad that we have this stuff now, but let's head back into the house and get this set up. First off, let's just start with the bookshelves, something like that, and then we can just kind of like surround this just like so. In the very center, we can plop down our enchanting table, look at that. There's 3 super important things that every enchanting area needs, and that's a crafting table, a grindstone, and an anvil. I think I'll wait until we're level 30 before I enchant anything, but I'm super happy that we have this set up. And believe it or not, that's our house done, but there's just one more super important thing to do. And that's move all of our items from these temporary chests into our actual house. And this is for sure gonna take a few minutes, so I'll check in with you once it's done. As you can see, I got all of the chests cleaned up out here, so let's head inside and I'll show you what I did. I'm actually really excited to show you this because I used shelves for the very first time to organize everything. For example, we have a diamond there, so you know, as you could guess, our diamonds are there, sand is displayed there, so we have sand. What else? We have like our stone up here, so as you could guess, we have stone, acacia, so you know, all of our wood is in here, you get the idea. But with that, I'd say our house is officially done, and to celebrate, let's go check in on my cats. If you haven't seen one of my videos before, I am always using my 2 cats, Munchie and Mittens, to guilt trip you into liking the video. I really appreciate all of you taking the time to like the video and maybe subscribing if you haven't already, as it goes such a long way in supporting the channel. Getting back to Minecraft, the next thing that I want to do is build a giant dock going all the way around the lake. This is going to be easier said than done though, because for the dock that I have in mind, we're going to need 40 stacks of spruce logs. I'm kind of curious how much we have right now. Oh my gosh, wait, we don't even have a single log left over. Okay, we're cooked. The good thing is we're almost level 30, so we could try enchanting an axe to speed up the process. We seriously just need a tiny bit more XP, and I think a super easy way to get that will be smelting some copper. And I swear I just heard a wandering trader, so while that smells, let's try to find this guy. Here this guy is, hiding right beside the chimney, but let's see what trades this guy has. These have gotta be some of the worst trades that I've ever seen from a wandering trader. What is this? I don't know what I was expecting, but definitely not that. Anyways, let's head back inside and grab some copper, and then hopefully we'll be up to level 30. Oh man, so close. I just waited a few seconds, let's grab a little bit more. Okay, there we go, level 30. I don't think I want to enchant our current axe because it's pretty low, so let's grab these diamonds and our lapis. And then over here, I should have some sticks, there we go. Gonna go right on ahead and craft ourselves a brand new axe, and then we can try to enchant this thing. I'm really hoping for efficiency and unbreaking, and would you look at that? Efficiency 4. Alright, you know what? I'm locking that in. Please give me unbreaking as well. Oh my goodness, wait, whoa. This is actually such a good axe. What? Dude, let's go. That is actually exactly what we needed. This axe is seriously going to be such a lifesaver, but anyways, it's time to get to chopping, and you know, at the moment this is our only kind of spruce trees, so I think we should try to find an actual spruce forest. I'm pretty confident there's one just a few hundred blocks in this direction, so I think it'll be a lot faster. I severely underestimated how far away this forest was. It was closer to like 1,000 blocks away, but I see the trees, so let's make our way over. We're at the forest now, but it's all just like these small spruce trees. I want to try finding some of the big ones. Here we go, that's what I've been looking for, some of these big boys. Let's get to chopping. And even though we have a better axe now, keep in mind we need 40 stacks of logs, which is no joke, so it's time to lock in and absolutely destroy this forest. A few days of tree chopping later, and check out this inventory. It's one of the most beautiful things that I've ever seen. I know I said we needed 40 stacks of logs, but unfortunately we really just don't have the inventory space for it, so the rest we can just farm back at the base. And speaking of our base, I think it's about time that we head back there so we can finally get to work on our dock. And there it is, home sweet home. Now that we are back home, let's just drop off some of these logs, since it's kind of hard to do anything with our inventory this full. And now that we have some room, let's make ourselves a bunch of planks, and then we can convert those into both trapdoors and slabs. This should be everything that we need to at least get started, and I think the obvious spot to begin is right in front of our house, because at the moment it's just like a couple of grass blocks, and then instantly we're straight into the water. And let's just make this transition a little bit smoother by doing a couple of stairs, and then we can do some slabs. And then I think I'll come out an additional like 5 blocks just like that. Can do the same thing for this whole area. This is already a great start, but I also want our dock to wrap around this side of the house as well, so let's carry on with our slabs. For now, maybe I'll just have it end like right here. Next up, I want to add a bunch of pillars, and just to save materials, I think I'm going to do 7 block gaps, so that's 4, 5, 6, and that would be, yeah, okay, that number, and then we'll do our logs right here. Quickly break that one, and then we can just extend this all the way down to the bottom of the lake. And we can just keep repeating that, so 3, 4, 5, 6, and that one there, so it'd be right here. And then once again, just got to extend this all the way down to the very bottom of the lake. There we go. And if I did this right, there should be a 7 block gap to the corner, and there is. So let's hop down here, and then I'll raise a pillar going all the way up to the surface. I also got the pillars in place right in front of the house, so this is really shaping up. But for just one final detail, let's add some trapdoors in between all of the pillars. This does make the dock a little bit more expensive to build, but I think it makes it look so much better. The only thing I'm not loving right now is that there's some sand and water in this corner right here, so I'd like to get this patched up with some dirt. Really hoping I actually have some dirt. 52, that should be enough. Alright, sweet, let's get this patched in, and that's looking way better. Now that we have our dock design figured out, I want to extend this pretty much going all the way around the entire lake. However, there's this like weird little mini island in the middle of our lake, so I would like to tear that out first. And maybe just to speed up the process a little bit, let's try to do a lower level enchant on our shovel. Just looking for efficiency, and check that out, efficiency 3, let's lock it in. Also got fortune on this thing, which is not my favorite, but we did get unbreaking 3 as well, so I can't complain. Anyways, let's take care of this island, and then we can get back to work on our dock. And I'm gonna make sure that I lower this thing by at least 2 blocks, just so that it looks natural. Alrighty, but that's enough yapping, let's lock in and tear down the rest of this. That took a little bit longer than I thought it was going to, but I'm super glad that we did it, since our lake is looking a lot cleaner now. Alrighty, but it's time to lock in once again, since I want to extend this dock pretty much going all the way around the entire lake. Getting straight to it, I used the exact same building technique that we used in front of our house. I had to get a little bit more creative for the diagonals, but all in all it was pretty straightforward. Anyway, after getting the main dock in place, I felt like the lake itself was still looking kind of empty, so I built 3 more smaller docks extending off the main one going further into the water. This already looks so cool, our lake feels so much more established. I did want to add some lanterns on top of some of the pillars, but yeah, we don't have that much iron. I think we should still have some copper in here though. Okay, yeah, a little bit. I'm thinking we can make some copper lanterns instead, but we're probably gonna need just a little bit more copper. I'm also like completely out of coal right now, so let's smelt some of these logs into charcoal. Oh yeah, and I've also been smelting some steak since I'm like completely out of food right now too. Alrighty, but we should have plenty of copper now as well as charcoal. So over at our crafting table, let's make a bunch of torches, and then we can turn our copper ingots into copper nuggets. And is that not how you make copper lanterns? What? Am I actually just dumb? How do you make copper lanterns? I'm actually so dumb, but I think I figured it out. If we grab more of this charcoal, we can turn it into copper torches. Alrighty, but now that we have those, we can make a bunch of copper lanterns. And this should be more than enough, since I don't plan on putting them on every single pillar. Anyway, I'm just gonna run around the entire dock and get these all in place. Just got a couple more lanterns to go, one right here and then one at the very end of the dock. Boom. You might have noticed that there's some parts of the dock, like right here for example, that aren't connected, and that's because I wanted to dig this out and build some pathways. So first things first, let's just clear out some of these grass blocks. As for the pathway itself, I want to use some coarse dirt, so let's grab ourselves some regular dirt and some gravel, and then we can combine this together to get the actual coarse dirt. I also want to mix in some granite into our pathway, but I don't think I have any. That's alright, let's just try to find a nearby cave and get some. I just found a cave that has some granite in it, but I think there's a thunderstorm right now, so let's go to sleep really quick. We should be good now, so let's hop down into this cave. Oh my gosh, look at that, I'm gaming. And there's a lot of granite down here, so we should be able to get a bunch in no time. I mean, there is like a bunch of zombies though, so that's going to make it a little bit more difficult, so get out of here. We got ourselves 2 stacks of granite, which should be plenty, but I am a little bit worried that we're not going to have enough coarse dirt, so just while we're down here, let's grab a little bit more gravel. Half of that just turned into flint because we have fortune on our shovel, but whatever, we got ourselves more coarse dirt. Now that we have everything that we need, let's get straight to placing in this pathway, beginning with some granite along the edges, and then the rest we can pretty much just fill in with our coarse dirt. However, I will just tear out a little bit of this and we can replace it with our regular dirt. As you can see, it has a slightly different color, so it adds a little bit more variation. That right there is our pathway done, and it feels super nice to have the 2 different sections of our dock connected now. But that's not the only section of the dock that's not connected, we have a way bigger section over here. So I'm just going to do the exact same thing as before, tear this grass out and then get a pathway in place. Even though it took a lot of time and effort to build the docks, as well as do all of the terraforming and build the pathways, if we take a look at the before and after, I'd say it was totally worth it. I'm already really happy with how our base is turning out, but my goal is to get builds going all the way around the entire lake, and considering we're already halfway through this challenge, we better get to work. And the next thing that I want to build is a barn for our animals, because I feel kind of bad for them stuck in this boring old pen. And as soon as we found this lake, I did notice that there were some cherry trees on top of this hill, so I think it'd be fun to build our barn using some cherry wood. Just made it over to the cherry blossom biome, but dude, we have a great view of our lake from up here, this looks awesome. Anyway, now that we're here, let's get to chopping a bunch of these trees. And I have been addicted to shelves lately, so I'm also going to strip some of these as we go so we can make some of those later. Alrighty, but I'm going to chop down a bunch of these trees and then I'll check in with you once I'm done. I'm going to be a good tree chopper and replant a bunch of these trees, but check this out, we got ourselves about 5 stacks of logs now. I'm pretty sure that should be enough, so let's head back home. And now that we're here, let's get straight to crafting. First off, I'm going to make a bunch of shelves, which I was telling you about before. But with that taken care of, let's turn a bunch of these logs into planks. Now that we have these, let's make ourselves a bunch of slabs, and we're also going to need a decent amount of stairs. While we're in crafting mode, I'm also going to make a bunch of spruce stuff, and surprisingly, we had so much stuff left over after building the dock. I must have really messed up my numbers somewhere when figuring out how much we needed, but I am not complaining since we can use this for a bunch of future builds. Anyway, I got all of the cherry and spruce wood materials ready to go, but my inventory is getting pretty full, so I'm just going to dump this all into a chest beside where I plan to build the barn. There's one more wood material that we need, and that's dark oak, but I'm running pretty low on this stuff, so we'll have to cut down a couple of trees. I went ahead and crafted it down too, so that right there is all of the wood materials that we're going to need. The very final material that we need to build this barn is deep slate, but I'm pretty sure we're running low on this stuff. Yeah, we have 38. That means it's time for another mining trip, but that might not be too bad since we still do gotta get ourselves a diamond helmet and diamond boots. And I did just remember that our pickaxe has 0 enchants on it right now, so let's see what we can get. Okay, yeah, efficiency 3. Nothing extra, but I'll take it. I'm even gonna enchant our sword, sharpness 1, sure. Better than nothing, I guess. Might also be a good idea to enchant our armor. We can get protection 3 on our leggings, which is honestly pretty good. And would you look at that, we also got unbreaking 3 on it, let's go. What about our chest plate? Fire protection 2, that's just trash. Hang on, I'm gonna block off more of these bookshelves. Come on, something different this time. Oh wait, protection 2? Okay. Far from the best gear in the game, but it'll make us a little bit safer. Anyway, I think I'm just gonna go back to that cave that we were exploring before because that place was absolutely stacked. Yeah, look at this place. There's still like so much iron and copper and everything else that we still haven't mined, so let's hop down. Oh my goodness, wait, I saw a creeper? Oh wait, it's a it's a turtle. And even though we are in the hunt for deep slate and diamonds, I do want to try to get a little bit of iron as well since we're pretty much completely out. And I'm really wishing that I lit this place up better because, oh my goodness, there's a lot of mobs down here. At least we have slightly better armor this time, so we're a little bit safer. Would have been nice to get fortune on our pick, that would have really sped this up, but you know, it is what it is. Why are there so many creepers down here? Get out of here. I just spotted one of the most cursed things of all time. Look at this, there's a singular piece of floating gravel. And it's like a straight up parkour course here. Can I do this? Oh, made it? That is so cursed, but also so legendary. I gotta take a screenshot. Let me finish our parkour course though. Boom, I made it. Oh my gosh, there's a spider. Get out of here, spider. I'm getting way too distracted. I gotta lock back in on this iron mining. I'm almost at 2 stacks already though, so we're making some great progress. Mom, get the camera. Look what I just spotted. Deep slate coal ore. Let's go. What do you think, Spider? Pretty cool, huh? Sadly, do not have Silk Touch to mine this, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Something else that's cool is that there's a slime down here. Do you want to give me a slime ball maybe? Okay, there we go. Check this out though, I got completely carried away mining iron and we have over 3 stacks now. I'm in a little bit of a pickle right now, but check that out. There's a chicken jockey. I'm pretty sure if we kill him, we'll get a special music disc, but let's take care of these regular zombies first. Alright, little zombie, please drop a music disc. Yes, look at that. I think it's about time that we head further down into the cave so we can try to find more diamonds as well as get the deep slate that we're after. And I'm already seeing a bunch of diamonds off the rip, which is awesome. How many is that? 5? Let's go. Oh wait, no, it's 4. I know how to count, I promise. I spotted at least one more in the ceiling, so let's get ourselves up there. Come on, don't tell me that you made me pillar for 1 diamond. Okay, wait, no, it's 3, it's 4, let's go. No, it's 5. Wait, no, this is 6 diamonds. Let's go. Wait, no, it's 7. No, wait, it's 8. Dude, wait, whoa. Was that really 8 diamonds from 1 vein? That is insane. And I was just about to pillar down to the bottom, and look what I spotted in the corner of my eye, more diamonds. Let me just take care of these mobs first. Get out of here, spider. Get out of here, zombie. Oh my goodness. Another zombie, please leave me alone. We got super lucky with that last vein. Let's see what our luck is this time. Just 2 diamonds, but you know what? I cannot complain. Leave me alone, spiders. Go away. I just spotted another really big diamond vein, but it's being guarded by like a million mobs. I want the diamonds. Get out of here, Skelly. Oh, that creeper actually, oh my, okay, I'm sorry. That creeper actually scared me so bad for some reason. Why did that creeper actually just like make me jump out of my chair? Oh my goodness. Even more creepers. Can you guys just chill? I think the coast is finally clear so we can mine these diamonds, and by the looks of it, it's 5. We already have 19 diamonds. This is awesome. Even more diamonds down there, but again, a bunch of mobs. You know what? I want them, so let's take out these zombies. Goodbye. Oh my gosh. Oh, dude, wait. Oh. Whew. Okay, we're good. If I just died on day 59, I would have lost my mind. Oh my gosh, wait, dude, where did that creeper come from? Honestly, how did I not die there? That creeper was like right beside me. That was actually terrifying. You know what? That might have been worth a jump scare because look at this. There's some diamonds right here. There's more right there. There's some over here. And out of the corner of my eye, I spotted even more. Can just start with this vein right here, I guess. We have at least 3. Okay, wait, no, we have 4. We have 5. Let's go. Moving on to the next one, we have at least 2 this time, and just 2. Alrighty, what about this one here? Is this one gonna be just 1? Yeah, just 1. Let's go check out that other vein that I spotted over here, and of course it's being guarded by yet another creeper. Can you just go away? And it's looking like this was more than 1 diamond. We have at least 3. Yeah, let's go. How do we already have 30 diamonds? That's nuts. Anyways, let's finally make ourselves a diamond helmet and some diamond boots. And just like that, we have full diamond armor. Drip check. Alrighty, but now that we finally have full diamond armor, I think it's about time that we mine ourselves some deep slate. We really only need a couple of stacks for our barn, but I will grab a little bit extra for future builds as well. I've already got a bunch of deep slate. I just mined out this entire area. Let's see how much we have. About 7 stacks. But I just bumped into some tuff at the end of our tunnels, so while we're here, I'm gonna take the opportunity to grab some. Oops, I was not paying attention. I just broke my pick. Well, that kind of blows, but the good thing is we do have a bunch of extra diamonds, so we can easily make a new one. I just bumped into more diamonds, and it's a huge vein too. How many is this? Oh my goodness, wait, it's like an 8 vein. Are you serious? Our diamond luck right now is actually next level. Our inventory is absolutely overflowing with useful materials, so I think the time has finally come to head back home. Now that we're back home, the first thing that I want to do is make a jukebox so we can listen to this music disc that we found. I think a good spot for this thing is just right beside our door, but let's give this a listen. Oh yeah, we're vibing. And while we listen to this absolute banger, let's get all of our iron smelted up. We can also display the rest of our original armor looking good. And then let's get to work on crafting all of the deep slate for the barn, beginning with some slabs as well as some stairs. We're also going to need a bunch of the deep slate brick slabs, as well as the brick stairs, and about a stack of the regular deep slate bricks. There's just one last thing to craft for the barn, and that's some lanterns, so let's grab some of this iron. Can then turn those into nuggets, and then make ourselves a bunch of lanterns. Was a bit of a grind getting all of these materials together, but finally we have every single block that we need, so let's get to building this barn. Barns are one of my all-time favorite things to make in Minecraft, I think just because like they're quite functional because you need somewhere to store your animals. Anyways, for this one, I created the walls out of cobblestone, dark oak, and spruce, and then for the roof, I created the trim out of cherry wood, and then filled in the rest with our deep slate. I'm already really happy with this. It definitely fits the vibe of the rest of our base, but let's add the final details. I left quite a few holes for windows, and I wanted to frame these out using our cherry shelves. And then for like an awning, I guess you would call it, we can use some dark oak trapdoors. Let's do the exact same thing over here, more cherry shelves and a couple more dark oak trapdoors. I've been having so much fun using these shelves, and as you can see, I left a big hole for a window on this side of the barn as well, so once again, let's do our shelves. Same exact thing on this side, bing and boom. And since we do have a lot of space here, I'm also going to add a lantern. Alrighty, but we have even more windows at the back of the barns. Once again, let's do some shelves. No, I messed up, I gotta break that one. Okay, I got it back. Boom, we're good. Can't forget the trapdoors though, there we go. That's pretty much the outside done, but I did just want to add a few more lanterns right here at the front. And we can also do some at the side, bing, and let me get this one, boom. Oh wait, I missed boom. Okay, wait, how did I miss that? And this build is pretty symmetrical, so I'll do some at the very back as well. And a couple more on this side, of course, but with that, I think we're good. For just one final detail outside, I'm gonna add a few hay bales, maybe one there and one right here. I'll also add a jumbo 2x2 hay bale. For some reason, I love how these look. Yeah, you know what? I can't help myself. I'm gonna add 2 more on this side of the barn as well. There we go. Heading inside of the barn itself, let's make this transition a little bit smoother by doing some trapdoors. And I don't think our animals are going to appreciate all this grass and leaf litter all over the place, so let's get rid of all of this. Looking much cleaner in here now, but I'd also like to get rid of these temporary torches, so let's add some lanterns on the ceiling. Can do the same thing on this side, a lantern and a lantern. I'll also do a couple at the very back of the barn right here, and we can of course do some at the very front too. But with some better lighting in place, let's get rid of both of these temporary torches. Now we can build the actual pens, and I'll just start off with a few fences, and then fill in the rest of the space with some gates. As you could probably guess, I'm going to repeat the same thing on this side, so more fences and more fence gates. We still have space for one more pen at the back of the barn, so let's go fence, fence, and more gates. I'm gonna add just a couple more lanterns at the very center of the barn here, but that's pretty much this area done. You might have noticed we do have a bit of a loft at the top of the barn, so just so we can access it, let's do some ladders. Gonna extend these going all the way up to the very top. We should also add some lighting up here, so let's go lantern. I'll do another one at the very center, and then we can do the same thing at the very end, right about there. And if you couldn't tell by now, I like symmetry, so let's just repeat the same thing on the... Okay, just forget it. Okay, I got all the lanterns in place, but let's try to make this hole at the very center a little bit safer. We don't have a whole lot of room, so let's try to do some stairs just like this. Can do the exact same thing on this side, so stair, stair, and stair. For the rest of the railing, I want to try using trapdoors, but we just gotta flip these up. Same thing on this side, more trapdoors, flip those up. Maybe this isn't like the safest design ever, since we still can kind of fall down there, but you know what, I think it is better. Anyway, for just one final detail up here, I wanted to add a crafting table and a chest, which are always good to have nearby. Alrighty, but with that, I'm happy to call the interior of our barn done, so let's go get the animals. I want to start off with the cows, but we have so many of these guys, it's going to be quite difficult, so let's just thin out the herd a little bit. This is a much more manageable amount, so let's get these guys moved over. And just like that, the cows are moved over. Alrighty, next up, let's move the sheep. All the sheep are now in the barn, let's go. Next up, let's move the pigs, and these guys should be a little bit easier since we only have 2 of them. And since we do only have 2 of these guys, they're getting the little pen. You might be thinking where's the spot for the chickens, but don't worry, I did not forget about them. And that's because I want to build these guys their own dedicated chicken coop. The good thing is this shouldn't be too resource heavy since it's a pretty small build, just gonna grab like some wood as well as more of our deep slate. I guess we also do need ourselves a little bit of wool, so let's make some shears. And I want the wool to be yellow, so let's grab a few dandelions. Turn those into dye, and then back over at our barn we can dye some of our sheep yellow, and last but not least, shear them for their wool. Although I do want this to be carpet, so let's just go bing and boom and get ourselves a bunch of that. Moving along, we gotta get ourselves some birch wood, and I'm just gonna strip these logs as we go. And maybe you already guessed why I'm stripping these. That's right, I want to make more shelves. Also need ourselves a birch door, as well as a trapdoor. As for this deep slate in our inventory, I'm first going to turn some into these deep slate tile stairs. Also going to turn some into polished deep slate, and some of the polished deep slate stairs. There's just 2 more items that we need, both of which are going to require iron, but I think we should have some, yeah, right here. Might need even a little bit more than that, but yeah, we have plenty. Anyways, I want to turn this into some lanterns, as well as some hoppers. But this right here should be everything that we need to build our chicken coop, so let's get to it. And I'm thinking we can just build this kind of over at this end of the dock. Alrighty, but let's get started with some polished deep slate, spaced 3 blocks apart. And then we can just square this off with a couple more deep slate. Now that we have this marked out, let's bring these, oh my goodness, no way, I just messed that up. I was trying to say let's bring these up 3 blocks higher using some stripped dark oak. I'm also going to use dark oak for the roof, and we can just go for a simple A-frame just like this. And with the outline of the roof in place, I'm going to go ahead and fill the rest of this in with our polished and tiled deep slate. Alright, sweet, got the roof in place, and that right there is the basic shape of the coop. This thing definitely needs some walls, so let's start off with some spruce planks. Can fill this gap in as well, and the same thing on this side, and I'll do the same thing at the very back as well. Next up, let's use our trusty birch shelves to fill in the rest of these walls. This is kind of like vertical slabs, which is crazy, and it adds so much depth to the build. Since most of the pictures that I looked at, the coops were kind of raised off of the ground, that's what I want to do here too. Alrighty, but heading inside of the coop itself, let's just fill in this very bottom layer with planks, and then I'll do a bit of a C shape just like this. And since I also want these to be kind of like an egg farm, I'm going to do a barrel right there and a hopper feeding into it. And then we can cover this up with a yellow carpet, and that kind of looks like a chicken nest. It's not going to be a crazy efficient farm, but there's a chance that a chicken will lay an egg on this carpet and then it'll get fed into this barrel. I know I'm such a redstone genius, but anyways, let's just close this off using a birch door. And it might be nice to be able to access that barrel from outside of the coop, so I'm just going to get rid of the shelf right here and replace it with a trapdoor. We'll be able to easily grab the eggs now, and then we can just close that and it blends in perfectly. For just one final detail, and to make this area a little bit safer, let's dot some lanterns going all the way around the coop. Probably a good idea to add some lighting inside of the coop as well, but with that, I'm happy to call this thing done. I couldn't help but feel like our chicken coop was looking a little bit lonely all by itself, so I built 2 more of them right beside it, but to switch it up a little bit, I created the walls out of one of them using acacia and the other out of cherry. I'm super glad we decided to build a couple more of these. I feel like it fits the space way better now. Alrighty, but the time has finally come to bring these chickens over to their new home. I'd feel kind of bad if we split these guys up, so let's get all of them inside of the birch coop. Can go ahead and breed them as well. There you go, have some seeds. Alrighty, but with that, our coop, hey guys, get back in. Oh man, you're kidding me. Alright, you know what, you guys are coming into the acacia coop, come on. Alright, no escaping this time, there we go. But with that, our coops are officially done, let's go. And finally, our old animal pen is completely empty, so we can tear this thing down. Couple more fences to go, and check that out, so much cleaner. With our old animal pen gone, I couldn't help but feel like this area was looking a little bit empty now, so I went ahead and gathered up some blocks for a brand new build. And what I want to try building this time is a doghouse, and for some reason I thought it'd be a fun idea to try to build it on a diagonal. I really don't know why I'm making myself suffer like this, but we'll figure it out. Anyways, I think something like this will work for the walls, and then for some windows, let's do some copper grates. The really tricky part is going to be the roof, but let's start off with some stairs. To smooth it out a little bit, let's also do some trapdoors. For the roof peak, I'll do a couple of stairs, and then one more deep slate block, and at the very top, a slab. I think for the scale that we're working at, that's kind of the best that I can do. Alrighty, but just give me a sec and I'm gonna get the rest of the roof in place. I tried to make a bit of an arch at the front of the doghouse too, which looks a little bit derpy, but yeah, I did my best. Anyway, I think we can make it look a little bit more welcoming by first doing some dark oak shelves. And then right above that, I'll do a lantern and a lantern. I'm gonna show you a 2000 IQ building trick. If there's any like ugly parts of your build, just cover them up with some leaves and just call it decoration. Alrighty, but let's get to work on the inside by first adding a couple more lanterns. And I don't think our dog is gonna find this grass very cozy, so let's tear this out. We can then replace it with the same blocks that we've been using for our pathway, which is of course granite, coarse dirt, and regular dirt. That is looking so much better, but our dog needs like a proper bed, so let's make one using some carpet. Can even tear out some of this dirt and replace it with the actual wool blocks for a bit more depth. For just one final detail, let's give this guy a food bowl and a water bowl. And with that, I'm happy to call our doghouse done, except for, you know, one small issue, we don't have a dog. That means our next objective is to tame a wolf, and in order to do that, we need some bones. And we only have 7 bones, hopefully this will be enough. Oh hey, what's up pig? I just spotted one, come over here buddy, please be my friend. Yes, let's go, best friends. What a legend, let's go. I want to dye this guy's collar, so let's grab one of these peonies, and then we can turn it into, wait, what dye does this give? Yeah, pink dye, we can do that. Come over here, Mr. Doggo, you are now pink. Alright, little doggo, get onto your bed there, perfect. And you know what, you've been such a good boy, you deserve a snack. I've really been enjoying adding animals to our base, it just brings so much life into the area, so the next thing that I want to build is a horse stable. And we still have a bunch of space right beside our starter house, so I think this will be the perfect spot. Alrighty, but with that said, let's lock in and craft all of the items that we're going to need. Of course it's raining now, but after about a day of crafting, you can see we have all of the items that we're going to need. I'm excited to start building, but just before we do that, I gotta flatten this area a little bit. But with that terraforming taken care of, I went ahead and built up our stable. Honestly, this is a super simple and small design, but there is space for 2 horse stalls. Still need to build the stalls themselves, but before we do that, let's just add a couple of lanterns. And then with those in place, let's block off these entrances with some gates. And to divide up the two different pens, we can keep it super simple and just do some fences. To make our stable a little bit fancier, I was thinking we could also have a pen outside, and let's just mark it out using some stripped dark oak logs. And I feel like it would look good if we capped all of these off with a slab, so let's just get those in place. In between the pillars, we can keep it super simple and just do more fence gates. I think our stable looks way less basic with this pen attached to the front of it, but we should definitely connect this thing up to our dock using a path. And just so it matches the rest of our base, we can keep it simple and do some coarse dirt. Alrighty, but that right there is our finished stable, so all we gotta do now is get some horses. That means we're gonna need some saddles, but the awesome thing is you can craft them in vanilla Minecraft now. And I'm pretty sure I saw some horses over in this direction earlier, so let's go check it out. I swear I just saw a horse on top of this hill. Where's that guy? Yeah, okay, look at that. You can see his ears. And would you look at that? There's actually a couple of horses up here. Anyway, let's start off by taming this guy. Oh wow, that was super quick. Alright, Mr. Horsey, let's see how fast you are. Oh my gosh, wait, this is a legendary horse, what? And from that hilltop, I did spot this village which has a blacksmith, so let's check it out. I'm not sure what I'm expecting this to have. Okay, a spear, kinda cool. And I guess we did get some horse armor as well, which is kinda perfect for what we're doing right now. Our little horsey friend is giving me golden vibes, so let's give him the golden armor. And I just had a thought, the horse plus spear combo is going to be super deadly. We can just mow down these sheep now, this is crazy. That's enough messing around though, let's bring this guy to the stable. If I did this right, we should be able to easily open these gates and get this guy inside, perfect. I think our little horsey friend is enjoying his stable, but let's go get a second horse. And I was going to get that other horse on top of this hill, but I noticed there was a bunch of other horses down here. Yeah, maybe this cool spotty horse, let's get this guy. Can you just love me, please? Please love me. Alright, sweet, this guy likes me now, so let's throw our saddle on this guy, and maybe our copper horse armor. And this horse is honestly decently fast, but I think our other horse is a little bit faster. And you know what, I was going to put this guy in the other stall, but I think I'll just let him chill outside. But that right there is our stable 100% complete, and I'm really happy with how this thing turned out. We have all these animals now, which is awesome, but I just had a thought, we don't really have any farms producing food for our animals to eat. For the farm that I have in mind, we're going to need some cobblestones. Let's hop into our little hole here and get to mining. Anyway, now that we got ourselves a decent amount of cobble, let's turn about a stack of this into slabs. While we're in our storage room, I'm also going to grab ourselves some tough blocks as well as some oak leaves. We can also grab some hay bales as well as our wheat seeds. Gotta do just a tiny bit of crafting as well, beginning with some polished off walls. And it feels like I'm always making these, but we need more lanterns. Oh yeah, I guess we're also going to need a hoe, so let's grab ourselves a couple of diamonds as well as a couple of sticks. And then we can just combine those together to get our actual hoe. Last but not least, I'm just going to grab a few rose bushes, but with that, I think we're finally ready to build our farm. First off, I marked out the border of our farm using our cobblestone and tuff, and then I surrounded it with our oak leaves and rose bushes. With that marked out, I added all of the water sources, which I covered up with slabs, walls, and lanterns. Now that this is set up, all that's left to do is plant our wheat seeds. And it's kind of crazy that it's already day 80 and we still have not planted a single seed. That is kind of hard to believe. Anyways, after using all of our seeds, we were able to get this thing about halfway filled in. I just remembered though, we do have a few carrots. Yeah, we have 4. Might as well plant these 2 since I would like to stockpile some. For just one final detail, let's add another jumbo hay bale outside of the farm. Can also add a couple around the stable as well to really tie into that farm aesthetic. Check this out though, dude, our base is really shaping up. I mean, at least this little section of the base is, but the other side of the lake is still looking super empty. That's exactly what I want to tackle next, and considering it's already day 80, we better get to work. One of my favorite ways to fill up large empty sections is with farms, so I started off by building a simple sugarcane farm on a diagonal. After that, I put together a pumpkin and melon farm, which always looks good. I figured we could make a few more regular crop farms on this hillside, but this time I switched it up a little bit by creating the borders out of oak leaves. The only issue with these is that we don't have enough seeds to fill them in with. I think I have a solution though. If we go to the Nether, we can get bone blocks for essentially an unlimited supply of bone meal. But before we build our Nether portal, let me give you a quick tour of what we just built. Of course, our farms right here are still kind of basic since we still need to fill them in, but our pumpkins and melons are already growing in, which is awesome, and our sugarcane is pretty much fully grown. Alrighty, but considering it's already day 88, we better get to work on our Nether portal. And you already know me, I'm not just going to build some regular old Nether portal, I'm going to try to make something a little bit cooler, but before we get to that, just give me a second to organize my inventory since it's an absolute disaster right now. Got our inventory all cleaned up, which is great, and one of the blocks that we got to collect for our Nether portal is more cobblestone, so just to make our life a little bit easier, let's enchant a new pick. No time to waste, so let's go get ourselves some cobblestone, but I swear I heard a wandering trader. Yeah, here he is. Alright, buddy, do you have any cool trades for us this time? No. Goodbye. Why can't that guy just be selling like a stack of diamonds for one piece of dirt? Is that like too much to ask? Alrighty, but jokes aside, let's just lock in here for a second and mine ourselves a few stacks of cobble. And okay, I just bumped into more coal, which is actually perfect because I want to turn a decent amount of this cobblestone into regular stone. And yeah, you know what? We might as well just go ahead and get this converted inside of our furnaces, since it will take a couple of minutes. One of the other main things that we need for our portal is of course obsidian, but we do have 16. We're going to need even more than that though, since this is going to be a pretty big portal, but the good thing is there's a lava pool over here where we can collect some. Alrighty, but with that said, let me lock in here for a minute and get about 10 more of this stuff. And it is dark right now, so I should probably sleep, but I'm kind of worried about running out of time to build all the stuff that I want to, so I'm just going to stay awake. And just like that, we have more than enough obsidian. By the looks of it, our stone is almost ready, but while we continue to wait, I'm going to go ahead and craft everything else that we're going to need to build this thing. Got everything ready now, so just got to pick up the stone. And then I'm just going to turn a stack and a half of this stuff into stone bricks. The very final material that I want to use is some cherry leaves, and I really don't feel like walking up this hill, so I'm just going to use some bone meal to grow up one of these trees so we can grab some. And just like that, we have every single item that we're going to need, so let's get to building. I started off by building a raised platform using all of our different stone blocks, and then on top of that, I built a tower where I was able to hide our actual portal. I think my favorite detail are these shelves at the tops of these pillars. They blend in perfectly with those stairs. And I think this thing is going to look even better once we light up the portal, but we gotta grab a flint and steel. First off, just gonna grab ourselves some flint. Where is my flint? Right here. And then we also need an iron ingot, there we go. And then we can just go bada bing, bada boom, flint and steel. Dude, I left my door open and this guy just came in here. Alright, dude, I was gonna let you chill, but this is just an invasion of privacy, you gotta go. Anyway, I think it'd be good to have some gold armor in the nether as well, so let's just grab some of this gold. And I'll keep it simple and make a helmet. I'm also gonna grab a couple of stacks of blocks just in case we need to bridge, but with that, I think we're ready to go. I'm super excited to see what this is gonna look like once we light it up. Let's just do our flint and steel and take a step back. And dude, yeah, I am super happy with that. Alrighty, but the time has come, let's head inside. And of course, we just spawned in one of the worst biomes ever, but I think we're safe. Alrighty, but of course what we're on the hunt for is a soul sand valley, and I think there's one just over there. The question is, how do we get over there? Oh my goodness, wait, there's magmas. Oh, I do not like the nether. I hate this. Alright, you know what? We can do this. I'm locking in. Okay, I think we're good. I am on the hunt for bone blocks so we can get a lot of bone meal, but while we're here, we might as well pick up some of these quartz too. I think the fastest way to get to the soul sand valley is just a bridge, and man, oh man, this is so scary right above the lava, but we got this. Okay, I think we made it. Just made it to the soul sand valley, and what's the first thing that I see? A fortress and a ghast. Probably not going to go to that fortress, but let's take out this ghast. Boom, get out of here. Alright, this place is giving me the heebie-jeebies. Let's just get some bone blocks and get out of here. And would you look at that? We got ourselves a little happy ghast. What's up? Or I guess I should say a dried ghast, but you know what I mean. And we're almost at a stack of bone blocks already, which is awesome. I feel like a stack of bone blocks should be good though, right? Yeah, I think that's plenty. I am really tempted to check out this fortress, but considering I don't have my shield or my bow, I don't think we should risk it. Yeah, let's just head back home, but on our way, I do want to try to pick up some glowstone. Here we go, just found some glowstone that we should be able to mine, but just gotta pillar up. Would be nice if I had silk touch to pick this up with, but you know what, this works. I have a future build in mind that's going to require 9 glowstone, but this should be more than enough. Alrighty, but now that we have this stuff, let's get out of here because the nether is scary. I want to say that our portal is just somewhere up here in the basalt, but we gotta be careful. Oh my gosh, wait, magma, do not hit me. Magma, actually, do not hit me. Oh man, I hate this biome. Oh! No! Oh my... Eat. Dude, no. Not like this. I think we should be alright, right? I gotta get out of here, man. I can't take this. Okay, here we go. Here's our portal. Please do not fall into the lava again. Okay, we're good. I've never been so happy to see our lake. This place is way more peaceful. Of course, the main thing that we went to the nether for was bone blocks, so we can get ourselves an absurd amount of bone meal. And I want to use this stuff to try to get all of our farms filled in, but let's begin by harvesting our existing wheat. And I'm pretty sure after replanting this one, we won't even have to use our bone meal to get it completely filled in. Yeah, check that out, all filled in, and we still have a bunch of seeds left. But with this one all filled in, let's turn our attention to the farms on the other side of the lake. I think it'd look really cool if we turned one of those into a rosebush farm, so let's get a bunch of these. We could also turn one into a peony farm, since I'm pretty sure we have some inside of our storage room. Yeah, right here. So same thing, just gonna place one of these down and then use some bone meal to get a bunch of these. I guess we can make this first farm for rose bushes, and I just realized I did not make an entrance for this thing, so let's just break some of these leaves. Now that we can get in here, let's get straight to work, and I think I'm going to plant these in strips just to conserve how many rose bushes we're actually using. For some reason, I always forget that you can plant flowers directly on farmland, but it does look really good. I didn't do the best job at making the strips all even, so it does look a little bit wonky, but you know what, I still think this looks pretty good. Moving along, I think I'm going to keep this next farm pretty simple and just do more wheat, but once again, we need to wait to get into here. But with that sorted, let's get to work, and once again, just to save materials, I think I'm going to do some strips. Moving straight on to farm number 3, I kept it simple and just did some rows of peonies. That just leaves us this fourth and final farm, and I want to make this one for carrots. But since we don't have very many of these at the moment, I'm just going to use our bone meal to try to get a little bit more. Got ourselves over 2 stacks of carrots now, which should hopefully be enough, so let's get to planting. Alright, sweet, but that's our farms all filled in, and I'm really happy with how these turned out. And since we have all these farms now, I think a really fun addition to our base would be a farmhouse, which I want to build right here. That means we're going to need a few more materials to build with, so give me a few minutes to gather up and craft everything, and then I'll check back in with you. That ended up taking about 20 or 30 minutes, but we finally have every single block that we need to build this farmer's house, so let's get to it. I ended up using quite a bit of acacia wood just because I wanted it to match our starter house, but I also used some dark oak and cherry, which surprisingly work well together. And once again, just to match the style of the rest of our base, I added a tower to the side of the house in the same style as our nether portal. I'm super happy with how the exterior of this thing came out, but it definitely needs an interior, so let's get to work. And I guess the first thing to do is tear out this copper and replace it with a plank. I must have missed it before. Let's get some lighting in place though. Maybe I'll do like a couple of lanterns there and a couple on the other side. And since this is meant to be a house for a farmer, let's give him a bed. And to make it feel a little bit cozier, let's add a couple of paintings. Over on this other wall, we can add a little bit of storage as well as a crafting table. Right above that, I want to make a shelf using trapdoors. And on top, let's do another lantern, a couple of flower pots, and inside some oak saplings. Over on this other wall, let's do a furnace and a couple more barrels. Last but not least, we can display the dried gas that we found in the nether, and then I'll do a carpet to tie the whole room together. And even though we're done with the house now, I want to add a few more decorations beside it. And the first thing I want to build is a cart, so let's just begin by creating the wheels using oak trapdoors. And we're making a cart, not a motorcycle, so we gotta get 2 more of these in place. But then we can just connect them up using some slabs. Can simply fill in the rest of the space using spruce trapdoors. I'll do a couple more at the front as well, and then for some handles, let's do some gates. I think I'll just have this cart transporting melons, so let's place those down. But to make it look a little bit more secure, let's do some shelves as well as some trapdoors. Just gotta do 1 more on that side, and that's pretty much our cart done. To make this area look a little bit more detailed, let's add a few more hay bales. But with that, I think I'm happy to call our farmhouse done, but there still is just 1 more detail that I want to add to this farming area. And that detail is just a couple of lampposts beside our pathways. Maybe let's do 1 there and 1 right here. And these might be a little bit weird because we are on a diagonal, but let's just do a couple of fences and on top a slab, and then I guess we'll have to do a couple of temporary blocks. But then we can go trapdoor and trapdoor. Gotta get rid of all of this temporary dirt now. And with that out of the way, we can add our lanterns. Pretty simple but nice looking lamppost design, but let's do the exact same thing for this other spot that we marked out, so a fence and a fence. On top, our slab and trapdoors. And last but not least, our lanterns. I think that just kind of helps light up our pathway, but I did notice we have a few more hay bales on us, so we might as well scatter some of these around. Don't need to go too crazy overboard or anything, something just like that looks pretty good. Since we still do have a few days left, I want to try making another building over here that has a dedicated map room so we can see everything that we built in these 100 days. The good thing is we do have a lot of materials left over from building our farmhouse, so I think we can make use of a lot of these. But before we get completely carried away gathering up everything else that we're missing, let's make ourselves a new diamond pickaxe since our current one is about to break. Luckily for us though, we have lots of extra diamonds. Might as well enchant this thing too, so let's grab our lapis and then head over to our enchanting table. Let's see what we can get this time. Unbreaking 2, sure. Maybe we can combine our 2 pickaxes together. Yeah, that's a bit better. Now that we have this thing though, let's get ourselves a bit more cobblestone since that's the main material that I'm missing to build our map house. With that taken care of, we can go ahead and craft everything else that we're going to need, and then we should be good to go. And you know the drill by now, I got all the materials that we need, so let's get to building. Once again, I went for a very similar block palette as our starter house. The main difference for this one is that I made the roof a lot more curved, and I also added some windows right into the roof as well. This build is especially awesome when looking at it from the dock, but anyways, let's head inside and do the interior. Over on this side, we can do a crafting table and then create an indoor plant using a composter and some oak leaves. And then I'll do pretty much the same thing over on this side, another composter and more leaves. And since this is a map house, we should definitely have a cartography table. To fill out the very center of the room, we can keep it simple and do a large red rug. Last but not least, let's mark out where the map is going to go using the glowstone we got in the Nether. And I'm really excited to make our map, but before we do that, there's just one more thing that I want to build, and that's a few boats on the lake. I mean, come on, we can't have a lake-themed base but not build a single boat, that would just feel wrong. Low-key gonna have to speedrun these though because it's day 99 and the sun is already setting. The good thing is we should more or less have everything that we need already, but I do want to try making some of the sails out of quartz, so let's just make some of those. Well, to be more specific, I want to use smooth quartz, so we gotta smelt this up. I also want to make some of the sails just using regular white wool, so let's swing by our barn. And I gotta say, our base looks super awesome at night, this is sweet. Anyways, over at our barn we can dye all of our sheep white, and you guessed it, we're gonna shear these guys to get ourselves some wool. And it has been a minute, so all of our smooth quartz should be ready, and I'm gonna go right on ahead and turn just a few of these into slabs. It might also be cool to use some diorite for our sails, so I'm gonna grab that, head over to our stone cutter, and turn all of them into walls. All we gotta do now is grab the wood materials, but after that we'll be ready to build. Yeah, this right here should be everything that we need, and considering it's already day 100, we better get to work. I started off by making an oak boat in front of our house, and I liked how that one turned out, so I built 2 more of them, but I switched these ones up by creating them out of dark oak instead. And this 4th and final boat is definitely my favorite. Since I made it a little bit larger, I was able to make it a bit more detailed. I'm really happy with how our boats turned out, but we're very quickly running out of time, so let's make our maps. I think all we need is some iron and some redstone. Yeah, we can go right on ahead and turn that into some compasses. Just need some paper, so let's grab the sugar cane and then turn that into the actual paper. And I think that should be enough for 9 maps. Yeah, we're good. And I almost forgot, we're going to need some item frames, so let's grab 9 pieces of leather. And then we can of course just combine those with some sticks to get our item frames. I'm pretty confident we have everything that we need now, so let's make our very first map, and dude, that looks so sweet, let's go. Alrighty, but just give me a second to make the rest of the maps and then we can do the big reveal. I just got done making the maps, so let's head inside of our map house, and then we can just chuck our item frames on this glowstone. But now it's time for the moment of truth. Everything should be lining up nicely, which it is, so that is absolutely perfect. And dude, our lake looks so nice on the map, I am so happy with that. I feel like we did a pretty good job at filling out the space, especially for how big this lake was, but all in all I'm super happy with this. But the sun has already set on this beautiful day 100, so let's go to sleep, and with that we've officially survived all 100 days. As always, if you want to explore this world for yourself, the world download will be available on my Patreon, and for all tier 2 members right here on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching, happy building, and I'll see all of you in the next video.